His Excellency ICAO Rep, Mr. Mabasa, to join them on stage, please. A warm round of applause for him. Looking very African this morning. Celebrate him again with another warm round of applause. Already seated, allow me welcome my own boss, the Executive Director, Bagaso Banjula, Core Group Aviation Safety Oversight Organization. Please. Delegates that may have to do their PCR test should get to the booth where they were yesterday in the Congress Hall. Announcement, please. If you're billed to do your PCR test as a requisite, kindly get to the booth where they're collecting samples yesterday.
Have the same capacity, we do not have the same issues. We have so that differentiated, common but differentiated responsibility. Have to find homegrown solutions to deal with these problems. The time for Africa to put a green foot forward is now, and this can be achieved through climate-smart, sustainable aviation solutions that meet the aspirations, ambitions, and emerging opportunities for operators, regulators, travel consumers, and the planet. Nigeria is home to a host of climate change challenges, most of all biodiversity degradation, pollution. Nigeria holds the record for the country with the highest deforestation rate. Hence, the urgency to mobilize a common but differentiated sustainable aviation solution for Nigeria that is designed specifically to ensure biodiversity conservation and restoration process across communities. Green Sky Green is the first eco-citizen flying miles program that deploys incentive-based voluntary eco-label takers to mitigate aviation industry carbon emission footprint beyond ICAO's CORSIA scheme in Nigeria through forest impact programs that guarantee biodiversity, ecosystem conservation to combat desertification and protect wetlands for as the Sustainable Development Goals 14 and 15. The Green Sky Green program is a voluntary carbon emission reduction program that empowers eco-citizen travelers to go 10 trips for domestic tickets and approximately 100 trips for every international ticket purchase in Nigeria. This is a very, very ambitious figure. They are aspirational figures, and we'll work towards achieving them. Whatever we can do, no matter how little we can contribute, will make a big difference for the future generations. The Green Sky Green program drives the Fly to Green Nigeria eco-label token that is structured as a sustainable aviation policy enterprise product for airline operators under NCA regulatory spectrum to guarantee eco-neutral emissions footprint through out-of-sector green marketplace mechanism. Green Sky Green is engineered to launch the first green aviation marketplace program in Africa and promote progressive possibilities that profit the people and the planet through climate-smart, ESG-efficient programs that guarantee green and blue economic growth for United Nations Global Green Goals agenda. Green Sky Green empowers the eco-mobile citizen travelers to promote voluntary travel emissions reductions through eco-lifestyle flyers miles program that accelerate eco-responsibility to a greener planet where eco-passengers to activate future forest conservation and restoration program for sustainable development. The Fly to Green Nigeria project is designed as eco-citizen stimulus program that goes beyond open lifestyle incentives to create shared value, shared visions, shared responsibilities that rally eco-consumer-driven sustainable aviation value chain marketplace to drive net zero emissions footprint for the aviation industry. The Sustainable Aviation Policy leverages on ICAO's CORSIA scheme while proposing the Paris Climate Agreement to deploy nature-based solutions to meet the Nigerian nationally determined contributions through the first aviation eco-label regime that promotes out-of-sector, market-based, long-term aspirational goals commitment to the Global Diversity Protection Programs under the United Nations International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, 2021 to 2030. Activating the United Nations Green Label Goals Action Program. The Green Sky Green is situated as a sustainable aviation green citizen flyer miles program that innovates a climate change finance mechanism for green airport infrastructure, community-based climate change adaptation, mitigation programs, such as the Great Green Wall, Lake Chad, to create green jobs for net zero emission footprint of the economy, of the countries, of the country. Fly to Green Nigeria is an omni-channel sustainable aviation product that promotes voluntary carbon emission reduction through eco-label tokens that incentivize eco-citizen flyers to support eco-conversation programs through Green Sky Miles carbon offset on domestic and international travel in Nigeria. Green Citizen, Green Profit, Good Business. Fly to Green creates a green value proposition that readily rewards every eco-fly citizen with smart eco-fly lifestyle incentive through marketplace products that profit the people and the green planet, the green citizen, green profit, good business, one carbon neutral ticket at a time. Green Fit, Green Initiative. Green Sky Green Program develops, deploys, and finances mainly diversity conservation programs through the Green Fit, Green Initiative, an ecosystem conservation vehicle that drives deforestation, reforestation, and afforestation programs for blue and green economic development projects across Nigeria. Green Sky Green Program is structured to run on a strategic green policy impact partnership to achieve the national determined contribution targets in the Nigerian aviation sector through nature-based solutions forest carbon offset program. The Fly to Green Nigeria program is anchored on collaborative culture to sustain the aviation marketplace competitiveness by seeking and maintaining progressive partnerships to profit the people and the planet. The revenue model for the Fly to Green Nigeria product structured to deploy embedded eco-incentives for air travelers to reduce their aviation carbon footprints through biodiversity projects that profit the planet. The Big Green Profit for the Fly to Green Nigeria program is fundamentally structured to funnel innovative climate finance and harness homegrown green economy solutions for sustainable aviation and carbon neutral community development in Nigeria. The Fly to Green Nigeria product promotes progressive partnership and possibilities that profit the people and the planet through a smart eco-citizens flyers empowerment program that drives future forest footprint projects through the grand scale miles that guarantee 100 million Fly to Green carbon neutral tickets, totally over 10 billion eco-citizens flyer miles to plant over 1 billion trees across Nigeria in 10 years. 1 billion is probably a bit ambitious, but we have it there so that it can really make us, even if we achieve half of that, it's a significant change. You'll have a significant impact on the environment. In commemoration of the United Nations Decade of Ecosystem Restoration in Nigeria. That's the end of my show. This is a voluntary program. Nobody is going to force anybody to participate, but there are going to be incentives, good incentives. We are in discussion with many organizations that will who want to be associated with this program, and they're willing to give services and products for free to incentivize the passengers to participate in this program. So I know here, nobody's going to increase the price of a ticket. Nobody's going to do that. It's a voluntary program. And this is a homegrown solution. I'm not going to EU, I'm not going to IQ, I'm not going to we in Africa, we are developing our own programs to meet our responsibilities to our people and our international commitments and the national determined contributions. In a bit, I have a few packages that explain some of this to you. It's an ongoing development. Hopefully, within the next 1 month, you'll be ready and we launch it. And we'll be inviting a lot of people here and some organizations to participate in this program. Thank you very much for listening.
Environmental protection. Its daunting and deliberate initiatives as such must be strengthened. Another one round of applause for DGCA Nigeria. Dear delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to begin to collate, fine-tune the ideas, presentations, and all, to have an organic empirical verdict from the 5 days we've spent here. As we begin to take the critical leg in our flying, which is the landing point now, you allow me invite our Regional Director, WACAF, Mr. Prosper Zominto, to begin to do justice to the critical leg we have for this morning. One round of applause for him, please.
Merci beaucoup, Victor, notre maître de cérémonie, qui est toujours exceptionnel. Merci, Captain Moussa, pour cette présentation qui clôture notre session sur la protection de l'environnement. Nous étions habitués à un ciel bleu. Nous venons de voir ce projet pour un ciel vert sur la contribution de l'aviation aux objectifs ambitieux dans ce domaine. Avant de voir nos documents, je voudrais m'associer au président du comité de pilotage d'APIRC, ambassadeur Levers, qui disait que nous devons trouver des excuses pour revenir au Nigeria. Nous remercions le Nigeria pour une soirée exceptionnelle où on a pu se découvrir nous-mêmes, parce qu'il y a des performances qu'on ne savait pas, je veux dire, dont nous étions capables. Ma fille m'a dit qu'elle appréciait nos efforts de faire comme si on dansait, parce qu'elle joue dans une autre catégorie. Mais elle ne savait pas que nous ne faisions que nous échauffer. On n'avait pas le temps de nous exprimer. En tout cas, merci beaucoup pour cette soirée qui va rentrer dans nos mémoires. Parce que nous disons souvent qu'une bonne réunion, c'est un bon rapport et c'est des bons rapports. Et dans cette salle, je parle des rapports professionnels, n'est-ce pas? Maintenant, nous arrivons au plat principal de cette journée, qui est la dernière de la série des événements que nous avons eus au cours de cette 7e édition de la Semaine africaine de l'aviation. Victor l'a dit, nous allons faire justice au travail de compilation des résultats auxquels nous sommes arrivés il y a des constats, il y a des recommandations. Au nom du secrétariat, mon collègue Barry, toute l'équipe de l'OACI présente à cette réunion, nous voulons remercier tous les participants du haut degré d'implication dans les discussions. Nous sommes parfois frustrés des réunions où on peut dire qu'il y a une espèce de one-man show du secrétariat qui fait l'ordre du jour, qui fait les papiers, qui fait les rapports, alors que la réunion est une réunion africaine dont les principaux acteurs, directeurs généraux, industries, partenaires, doivent s'impliquer et vraiment s'approprier. Sans plus tarder, je ne sais pas si les problèmes de connexion ont été résolus. Il semble que certains collègues aient pu avoir un accès Internet, d'autres et pas. Est-ce que je peux confirmer la situation? Ce n'est pas encore résolu, nous dit notre informaticien. C'est toujours limité, Barry confirme. Donc, nous proposons que nous projetions le document. On va aller assez doucement pour vous faire réagir, sachant qu'il n'a aucun caractère final. Nous avons présenté ce document comme un document de travail pour avoir vos contributions, vos commentaires, et pour qu'on en tienne compte pour finaliser le rapport de cette 7e AFI Week. Est-ce que François est prêt pour... voilà, c'est chargé. François Salambagal, François Xavier, pour être complet, va donc, au nom des rapporteurs que nous félicitons, qui travaillent dans l'invisible, donc nous promener à travers le document. François, on ne s'est pas salué depuis ce matin. Tu enlèveras le masque quand même.
Oui. La table d'honneur, chers participants DG, merci beaucoup. Je vais parler en anglais après. Mais au nom de mes collègues du secrétariat, je vais présenter les travaux que nous avons faits depuis le début des différentes réunions. Et avec la permission des 2 directeurs régionaux, je tiens quand même à expliquer que ça a été un travail d'équipe. Et cette équipe a été animée par M. Manzi, qui est d'ailleurs debout. M. Manzi, qui a coordonné donc ce travail. Madame Shinga, stand up please. Qui nous a aidé à travailler sur l'environnement. Zéodou, qui a travaillé sur la sécurité. James, qui a travaillé sur la sûreté avec Chief Ademola, Oladele, et Stephanos Eyob for air transport and capacity building. He the one following up and monitoring matters related to the AFI plan. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have not reports in details because, as you may be aware, it will take time for us to see the result of the discussion. So we just try to summarize the main results, agenda item by agenda item, along the days, the 5 days of work. So, the first was the DGC 9 meeting. We report on agenda item, and what I will be doing is just to capture what we think that are conclusion or recommendation. When we will issue the detailed report, we will develop, taking into consideration the details of the discussion you have been conducting. So forgive us, because with the time constraint, we were not able to put all the narrative that you discussed. So on the agenda item 1 of the DGCA 9th meeting, the first decision and recommendation were that the state to increase the update of the LHCC ministerial declaration to restore and revitalize aviation sector, and also state were called for more commitment to open borders through update risk management and vaccination approaches to support the recovery of air transport. Under the agenda item 2, on the performance statute, the decision that the state are encouraged to improve their effective implementation of safety and security oversight, as well as the SSP and SB elements, and to request for support from the ICAO Regional Office, the RSUs, the AIO, and other partners. State to increase their efforts in the capacity building activities with the support of ICAO GATT and other appropriate training organizations. State to improve and or establish data collection and processing system to facilitate the exchange and sharing of information, which enables data-driven decision-making processes. And states are encouraged to release their experts to support the implementation activities in other states in coordination with ICAO regional offices. Cooperation between ICAO regional offices, AFCAC, RSOs, REX, and other international regional organization, industry, and partners should be strengthened in order to optimize the impact of assistance activity and initiative in the region. Yes, I forgot to tell you that after every event of the day, we will invite for discussion so that we can have views if we have been missing things, or if there are additional important and key subjects that can complement, will capture to either reward the conclusion decision or enrich the detailed report. The meeting also called for African states to liberalize their air transport market in accordance with the Yamoussoukro Declaration and join the system, if not yet done so. States that are yet to develop states, sorry. Malik. Sorry. The meeting called for African states to liberalize their air transport market in accordance with the Yamoussoukro decision and join the SATEM, if not yet done so. And states that are yet to develop state action plan and volunteer to participate in the CORSIA. State to promote policies for the development and deployment of sustainable aviation fuels. Under agenda item 3, on APIRC RASC meetings and priorities. With regard to the aviation delineation, a consultation is required between all the concerned states and stakeholders. States that have not yet done so are used to nominate focal points in PIRC-related areas to support the required coordination for the implementation of the air navigation plan. On the agenda item 4, that discusses champion state activity status, European Union collaboration with African on aviation, enhancing aviation development, innovation, and sustainability in the AFI region. It was agreed to convene a meeting to evaluate the relevance of the champion state mechanism and improve its functioning if required. The state should take advantage of the innovation to support the development of the aviation industry and consider the civil society in the decision-making process. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first draft of decision and recommendation on the next meeting of the DGCA. I think that I will hand over to the high table to see whether direct for any exchange, any compliment, any views sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Before we go to questions, we would like to call upon the participant that what we really need as your secretariat is to have substantive input in that editorial, formatting, and so forth. The secretariat will take care of us, of that. As Francois Xavier said, the main purpose is to highlight what we have missed that is significant so that we capture that in finalizing the report. We might have forgotten S's, commas, and so forth. Please, we'll have time to fix it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. In that sense, I will open the floor for inputs, questions. Let us, concrete proposals. I can start whilst others are still digesting. On the issue of the state action plans, we're only talking about those that have not yet developed, so that they should develop the state action plans. However, I think now we are moving for the review of those that were submitted. Perhaps we may want to include that and encourage states to look at the possibility of reviewing those that have and those that have not yet developed the state action plan to do so. So I think, because you have a project on that, yes. Any comments from the floor? Up to so far? Well, if you are silent, even though it is fatigue, we'll take it that you agree. Ardi.
Thank you very much. 3 inputs I would like to highlight. Remember that I think I was the rapporteur for that session. 1, there was an intervention from Kenya on the HLCC that we should include the activities into the plans. I think we will add that. Charity brought that intervention that we should add the outcome of the high-level conference into the plans. Number 2, as you have just mentioned, on the environment, I see we hadn't added COSHARE. We'll add COSHARE, SAF, and SAP, and the review of the SAPs. Finally, I think in the last point, there was the issue of innovation, but we had 3 items there. It was innovation, sustainability, and it's not social society, it's corporate social responsibility. See, CSR, corporate social responsibility, sustainability, and innovation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any contribution from the floor? Going once, going two, gone. Let's go to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. We'll now present the outcome of the decision and recommendation of the AFI Plan Steering Committee, the 25th one. We also organized the reporting under paper discussion, and we summarize and identify just when we have the conclusion under the recommendation. So, under the first paper discussion on the follow-up action on decision recommendation of the 23rd meeting of the AFI Plan Steering Committee and the status of implementation of the 2021 AFI Plan Work Program, we identified the following decision and recommendation. That the steering committee requested that the regional offices safety team, ROST, and AFI-CIS mission be prioritized in accordance with the needs of states to assist state implementation on their used CMA corrective action plans, CAPS, and especially address the remaining SSC and improve EIs in low-performing states. Sorry. Based on the results of capacity building of aviation professionals in the AFI region, study and the needs analysis, AFI plan to continue provision of target safety-related training, workshops, and seminars, including virtually, to enhance the implementation of capacity of states. The AFI Plan Secretariat continues closely work with partners to harmonize implementation plan in the region. The ICAO Council President and the ICAO Secretary General to continue to attend AFI meetings and to engage at the highest level those states that are not cooperating and are sufficiently advancing in addressing their aviation safety deficiencies. AFCAC to coordinate with the RSOs to improve access to aviation data from states and liaise with Rwanda for the development of a digital dashboard to support continuous monitoring of the level of implementation of the Abuja safety target and air navigation indicators. In collaboration with AUC, AFCAC, and other partners, the AFI Plan Secretariat to continue to follow up on the aviation infrastructure for Africa gap analysis conducted in 2019 as a key priority, and the AFI Plan Secretariat and AFCAC to coordinate on matters related to the capacity building of aviation professionals and the AFCAC Singapore MOU signed on 6th May 2022 in order to avoid duplication of efforts. Then we discussed paper 2A on the review and approval of the revised AFI plan project. And to attend this draft decision and recommendation, the steering committee approved the project presented in its budget for 2022. Implementation activities of the project should be presented for each year, including the required budget subject to availability of funds, and call on state, international, and regional organizations, financing institutions, and industry to support the AFI plan project. Then we deliberate on paper 02B on the continuation of the AFI plan to reach the following decision and a recommendation: support the continuation on AFI plan activities beyond 2024 until 2030 for 6 years as part of the work program of the ICAO regional offices, covering all safety and air navigation capacity and efficiency related areas, including aviation infrastructure planning. ICAO Secretariat to develop a related working paper for the upcoming 41st session of the ICAO Assembly in accordance with Resolution R387 on the AFI plan. Call state, international, and regional organizations, financing institutions, and industry to continue supporting the program. Evaluate the plan with regards to its relevance in supporting state and the results achieved through the support provided. To this effect, ICAO Secretariat to involve state supported by the plan in the evaluation process. The study should also highlight the accountability of the stakeholders in achieving results, and key performance indicators should be established to assess the contribution of AFI plan assistance activity to state performance. Then PP3 on the work program. We had one recommendation. The steering committee approved the 2022 AFI plan work program and budget decision. Then we discussed paper 4 on the implementation status of the revised Abuja safety target and air navigation service performance indicators.
Because we'll move to and fro. So I think it will make optimal use of time if we now finish that part, then we move to the next. It's much quicker that way. Because then, you see, fatigue has also taken its toll. So the moment you put too many things, it becomes too much for us to digest. So if you can go to the first one on this, the first slide on this, I have some comments there.
So you want us to go agenda item by agenda item, paper by
paper? From where we are starting now for the next approval process. We have approved the first part, then the second part that we have to approve. I think that's this.
These are the first decision that are recommended for the steering
committee. We have, I think we have decided that we should include the AATO issue as part of the AFI plan activities, kind of. So we need to find a wording to capture that, so that it should not just remain on the issue of the guidance. Are they? Maybe yet to come. If it will come on agenda item number 4, it's okay. Yeah, then let's take note of that. And then go down slowly. Perhaps then let's see if there are comments on this specific one before we move to the rest, so that we should avoid moving to and fro. Any comments on this portion? Okay, there's none. Let's move on. Yeah, so there is that issue where you talk about the involvement of states. I want you to go there. Where we talk about, you say the AFI Secretariat should involve those states that were helped under this. I think it might be slightly up, if it's not down.
Can I say something? I think we are having a slight problem in that the decisions and recommendations are not really aligned with the key points that were discussed. So we need to really beef up and we discussed very substantial issues that were are highlighted in the key points, and yet the recommendations are very shallow. We need to expand on them to make sure that we capture everything that was noted by the.
Okay, but the point I wanted to make, unless if it's captured somewhere, because we said part of our new focus would be that we want to link the AFI plan initiatives with the ICAO audits so that we can verify the effectiveness. So then if you just say involve, that will mean something different. So we want ICAO to prioritize those states that have been where there were interventions for audits. So you can look at it later. Yes. Yeah, because you said to this effect, ICAO Secretariat to involve states supported by the plan. So involving the states does not necessarily mean prioritizing them for audits. So we want them to prioritize the audits based on that. I see there's a call for a comment. You can go ahead, sir.
Continue.
Hello. Yes. Morning, everybody. Thank you. So it's Mark Mertens from the Navigation Group. I just wanted to put a word of caution here. Okay? You know that we have been Council in 225th session has approved the implementation support policy. So within that policy, we're trying to harmonize and scale implementation support. And my presence here this week with my colleague Jorge Vargas and all the discussions we had is really like the starting point for us for this activity. So one of the things, as I said, is scaling. Scaling for me means I don't want to do just one project, large project, support project per year or two in a region. No, I want to do 10 or 20. So we're scaling from 1 to 10 or from 1 to 20. So that's for me, that's where we are going to reach targets, be it in Africa and other regions. It's by scaling up. Just not doing like 1 or 2, just doing 20, 30, 50. For that, we need to have a systematic approach and get faster, and I think that's somewhere we're working on. Now, the problem comes with the evaluation of the outcomes of those projects. I agree with the ambassador that it's important for us to go and verify if the objectives of that project were actually achieved. And most of them are related to some kind of increase of oversight capacity. And yes, USO is like, in the security equivalent, is one of the mechanisms to do that. But remember, I'm saying that I want to scale. So I want to scale. So right now, USO, they can do, I think, it's around 15 audits per year. That's maybe more than 1 per month, knowing that they are, that's like 2 weeks from them. Yeah. If you're going down to another kind of activity, like validation missions, that's maybe shorter. Okay. One thing. Second thing, so remember that I want to scale. Okay. Second thing, there's a cost related to the evaluation. Okay. So these evaluations are not free. So it's audit is typically around $50,000. You can see, when we are talking about implementation support, which is maybe around 200,000, like a project of a year, in a country, you can see that maybe the evaluation is almost 10% of that cost. That's a lot. Okay? So you have to take that into consideration. Moreover, remember that USO, their program, they are, and that's what they have presented to Council, is that their first target is risk-based. So they are going to, one of the activities is to find significant safety concerns and to identify them. Okay? Now, if we have actually done a project in a country, we have basically improved the level in that country. Basically, if there was a safety risk, there's none there anymore. So, by de facto, it doesn't become a priority anymore for the USO program to go there, because we actually fixed it. Okay? So, they are going somewhere to identify issues, and we fix them. So for them to go back and verify that they are fixed, well, it's a lower priority, you understand? So we are actually now starting with the USO program to find other mechanisms to evaluate whether a project was successful, and yeah, it's actually basically the idea, and to see if what the intention was has actually been achieved. So in my terms, I call those, for example, rapid tests. There are certain kinds of tests you can do. It's like when you compare it to COVID, it's like if you want to see if someone has not COVID anymore, you can send him to the hospital for a week, and they do all kinds of tests. Yeah, you are 99.9% sure he's fine. But you don't want to do that for everything. So sometimes you need to have something like a rapid test, okay? And yes, a rapid test is maybe 95% sure, but maybe for what you want to do, it's very fine. So I believe if we want to scale up our implementation support, we need some other mechanisms of evaluation, not as a standalone thing, but together with the USO people and the auditors and all the tools they have identified. So I want you to think out of the box here, okay? And the initial wording which was there, I liked actually better. You know, if we say that we want to be like tied to audits, okay, or that we want to align their program to us, we're getting into problems with risk-based thing, because it's actually not anymore, you know. And so keep that in mind, that it's the evaluation part is the key thing here, yes, and that I fully agree with you, you know, that these things are, it's important that we are able to evaluate when a project is finished within 6 months. We need to be able to evaluate this. We cannot wait like 2 years or 3 years until there's a slot somewhere in a program. We must be able to provide that number so that you, for example, you can update every year your targets. We need to know the results of those projects, you know. So that's what I wanted to add here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're raising very good points. The unfortunate part is that it's coming at the tail end. Because it would have been good when we were discussing at the time. And the thing here, I really don't see a contradiction, because here, as us as the steering committee, we are urging that happens. So you, as the technical people, because you are the ones who are going to do it, because this is going to be presented to the council. Because if you have followed the discussion in the last council session where we presented the plans, there was a sentiment that came, well, I can mention from the rep of the US, acknowledging the progress, but was saying it's not good enough. Because he was looking at the move from a certain percentage to another percentage. But because if you only focus that we moved from 20 to 35% without really looking at the real situation and what has been done, you are tempted to say, if you are at 80, 90%, to say, no, there is no significant move. And our response was that, yes, but this is what is based on what can be verified off-site by the Secretariat. There are other things which needs to be verified on-site. We believe that if they were to go on-site, the situation would be very different. And we cannot force them that mark us higher because you are unable to come and verify, because that will definitely now maybe devalue the process. So that's why now we want to say to them that we are confident that we want this to be evaluated. And the only way we have identified in our discussion is through the audit process, which verify the improvement of the level of EI. So now we can put that in our recommendation. So when now we go and present to the council, then you can come in and say, no, that's not the only way to evaluate. There are other ways to evaluate, such as this and this. And the council, if they are satisfied that we can subject this to that evaluation, so that now, if now it only comes and show, because the audits have not been done, that now we move to 50% instead of 70, 80, then they will not blame the fund, that they will not blame the plan that is not achieving the results. So that is the thing. To me, they are complementary. So when you now indicate that there are better ways, and then when we discuss in the next meeting, then we are going to consider that for now, including the better evaluation method. And that does not necessarily stop the other evaluation method that you are talking about. This is what we urge that the council should approve to be the process. So if now there is a better process presented to the council, we will also support it as members of the council. So I think we can move on that. Afisek Fall.
Thank you, and co-chair, and good morning, everyone. You've basically said most of what I would have wanted to say, but just to emphasize some few points. First of all, Marco, thank you very much for the observation, and you are right, but at the same time, maybe you need to consider how this has to be done. First of all, most of our countries have low EI. We are not asking you to come and verify the states that have 85, 75, 90 something. What we are talking about are those states that you audited and found they are like 30%. And then they go ahead and do significant implementation of the cap. And they believe now perhaps they have moved to 60% or 70%. We have seen such situations. Now, if a country which has 30% is not considered as a risk area, then which is considered risk? That's why we want to prioritize them, and I think you should find them interesting even as ICAO Secretariat, because these are countries with very low EI. Those are the ones which we want to be verified, or validated rather, if they have done significant amount of implementation of the cap. And I also took note that you are looking at other options, and they are available. If we can put our heads together, these could be methods of validation, composition of teams, and also the financing. So my thinking is that perhaps when you are talking of those options or looking for those options, if you can involve us in the process so that we appreciate, and maybe we have even some suggestions to make to come up with working options. But it is so frustrating for ICAO audit to come and give a country 30%, and the country goes and spends a lot of resources and then moves to 60%, at least according to the CAP implementation. And then you say you cannot come and validate that, you are still at 30. Well, what do you want the country to do? So that's what, somehow you can fix that, and we believe there is a way of fixing it. So I thought I should make that point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that has an added advantage too, because then in our respective states, if then the report comes and then we report to our minister, and then, for instance, last year, or it's 3 years back, I think, I don't remember the period, when it was reported that Ghana is #1 in Africa. Then we had to go and explain why Ghana is ahead of us as South Africa. You see, so such kind of things is a healthy thing, because the minister will not want to understand that a country which is the GDP is low and then has scored more than my country, which my GDP is high. So then it will now, the minister will now understand that if you support me on what I want, then we are going to overtake that country. So it creates the healthy competition. So that is really the competition which we can promote, the competition to outdo each other in the effective level of implementation. Not the kind of competition where you have casualties, because this one there will be no casualty. We are all going up. We're competing on who, and there's no one pressing another one up. So we are jigging each other to go up. So that's the. Any comment from the floor? Okay, no comment. It means then.
I have one.
Oh,
thank you. I have one appeal, Mr. Chairman, and in line with what you have just mentioned, and to complement what the chairman of the AFI for plan mentioned, was appealing if it is possible for us to highlight, maybe not, it might not be in the decision or recommendation, but in the notes that were to recognize the improvement of performance by a state. And here I would like to single out Djibouti. I think it's in the interest of us to highlight the impact of the AFI plan missions to Djibouti, which had been persistently had the lowest EI globally for about 12 years, maybe 10 years. And they have, after a partial audit, not a complete audit, they moved from 4% to 40%. And they have a potential to improve even further on another audit in October. I think recognizing their effort and the achievement they have made so far would create an impact. They will not qualify for a presidential certificate, but they qualify recognition of the tremendous improvement they have done in the last 3 or 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, because part of the thing is that when we have a good story to tell, we must tell it. So we must not always wait for people to come and tell bad stories about us. We must also tell good stories, and then they come and see that there's good that comes of it. So it's a classic example, and I believe that there are many of us here who have that enthusiasm now also to create those good stories before the assembly. So when we go to the assembly, we'll have a lot of good stories to tell. Chair of AFI Farm.
So sorry to come back knowing that these are dying hours of the event, but you mentioned something, and which I just want to highlight. Mr. Zominto, we want these points to be taken by Marco to the headquarters, and now you took him away. Oh, but why not be transparent? When we were trying to argue our interests, like, I don't know the right word to use, but I think Ambassador Mabaso mentioned it. The council members were saying, but we have been at it for a long time, and the results are showing that not much has been achieved. You know that, Marco. You had it in the council. And the only way they can see those results is through validation missions. And what does that mean? Some of those council members are our partner, our development partners. So they actually, without saying it, they are saying, should we continue supporting these programs when we don't see the results? So that's why it is important that when we have the good story, as already said, it must be told. The development partners must see that there are good results and be encouraged to continue. We are asking for an extension. How do you get it if you are not showing that you are improving the situation? So you understand what I'm talking about. And we have some suggestions how this validation can be done. Some of it we have discussed it in the council. If you support it, it will work. We have the means to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's continue. We're waiting for you to continue, sir.
But I don't have the display.
Technicians, the presentation is lost on the screen. Oh, it's back.
Thank you. So, under discussion paper 4, we have AFCAC in collaboration with ICAO and other key partners to convene a meeting to evaluate and revise the Abuja safety targets and air navigation parameters in line with the new GAPS and GAMP targets. Review the implementation modalities of the AFI CIS in collaboration with key partners and prioritize low EI areas such as AID, ANS, and AGA in the AFI CIS implementation support strategy and actions.
Any comment on this? Okay, this seems to be pretty straightforward. Then accepted, we move.
Paper 4 on the review and approval of the recommendation of the RSO study on the proposed strategy and a roadmap. Decision recommendation, ICAO in collaboration with the AUC, AFCAC, EASA, and other key partners to organize a high-level forum as a follow-up of the Ezulwini Declaration of March 2017 to establish continental common understanding and synergy on the implementation of the AFI RSO strategic plan, and present reviewed AFI RSO study recommendations, strategic plan, and implementation roadmap, including the outcome of the high-level forum to African ministers responsible for civil aviation for their consideration.
Any comment on this? I see none. Then let's move on. It's accepted.
Paper 6, status report on the aviation professional study. One decision, finalize and present the result of the study to the next AFI plan steering committee meeting.
Don't we want to add something about the submission of information? Because we took note of the challenge in obtaining the information. So we should urge the states to submit the required information.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted to suggest that we make it even wider. We have a whole element talking about information and database. Because we discussed at length the database. So we have one decision or recommendation encompassing the database and information.
Any other comment on that one? Okay, let's move on to the next one.
So to move to the presentation made by partners from EU EASA, The decision was to command EU EASA for continued assistance that is being provided, including human resource capacity building in Africa. Sorry. So from IATA presentation, decision to encourage IATA to continue supporting the implementation of the global and regional safety implementation plans and target in coordination with stakeholders.
Any comments? Okay, let's move to the next one.
AATO, the decision and the recommendations. First, develop a project under the AFI plan and AFI SECFAL plan supporting the programs of the AATU for the consideration of the steering committee. Then AFI plan secretariat in collaboration with AFCAC and other partners to look various options for AATU to continue relevant and provide the originally intended objectives.
Okay. Any comment on this one? I don't see. I think it's AATO. Go ahead.
Thank you very much for capturing the AATO and including it in the recommendation. But I have just one concern on the recommendation. The word that has been used, to look, and it's very, very dilute from my perspective. So from what I captured, the recommendation was stronger than that. Now, if you advise the meeting to look, then what next? To look and. So I would wish to have a stronger and much more smart recommendation than the one we've used.
Can you suggest the wording?
Well, from my understanding, the meeting was requested. Okay, if I may capture from the first recommendation on the AFI and SECFAL to fund the project. So what I see from the project perspective, that pertinent issue of funding the secretariat cannot be easily implemented. So that is my biggest concern now. If you look with the AFCAC, and then we cannot implement the secretariat sustainability, that is my concern. So I'm not very good enough in those high-level wording, and I'm not a diplomat chair. So me, as an engineer, I can craft a very funny word. But so that is my concern. I'll request you. I request you to consider and have a much more smart recommendation. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I see the AUC has requested the floor. The microphone in front here. No, the microphone is coming.
Thank you, Chair. May I request Francois to project the recommendations so that we can try to improve from there?
It's not Francois who's in control of the screen. The technicians bring the text.
Thank you very much, Chair. In line with what AATO Secretary General just said, I wanted to propose that the second recommendation be amended as follows. AFI Plan Secretariat, in collaboration with AFCAC, AUC, and other partners, to explore various options to ensure sustainable financing and institutional framework for AATO. So the reason I'm bringing in the institutional framework is that we are looking at short-term options to fund, to allow AATO to continue their activities. But we are also exploring a sustainable way of having the institutional framework put in place in a better way compared to how it is now. I think that is what had transpired during the discussion. So my proposal is to put financial option and also sustainable institutional framework. Thank you.
Thank you for the proposal. Chair of AFI.
That is good, but I wanted to propose, because I see what the Secretary General of ATO is talking about, and I agree with her. There was, if I was in her shoes, there is something I would not want to lose. I think we agreed, because we were sitting as steering committees of the two plans, that we will partially give them financial support. And I think that is a decision made by the steering committee, because I didn't see anyone who opposed it, partially. And then, so we can split this recommendation into two. One, not even a recommendation, but a decision. One is a decision that the two steering committees took to partially support or include ATO in their programs. And then the other one is exactly what you said, AUC. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying.
No, the first one is already there.
Oh.
Yes, the developed project under AFI Plan and AFI Plan supporting the programs of the ITO.
Okay.
Yes, it's covered. Right. So I think the suggestion, I think we can adopt that, and then we can always modify it. Those who are good in English, they can. I thought engineers were the best writers. So, RD?
The RD used to be engineer. And by the way, this is how I met Margaret. Now, I think, Chair, the spirit is there that ATO has immediate needs. That is what we capture under bullet 1, because we cannot allocate an amount of money to ATO otherwise than developing a project and have the consent or approval by the steering committee. Now, we didn't come to this meeting with proposals in terms of the amount that is needed to sustain, at least for the time being, ATO. The second bullet takes into account the needs to establish an ATO that is sustainable. There is, I agree with Eric from AUC, there is an element of the institutional framework. How do we establish it? And there's an element of a funding mechanism for this to ensure sustainability. If the meeting so agreed is, we can work out the wording to reflect that approach. But I think the call from Margaret is that bullet one is not for tomorrow, for her. So how do we reflect that aspect of this sense of emergency, and how technically, I would say administratively, before the next steering committee meeting, how can we help? Do we have a blank, as we say, a blank check? Or that's her concern. But based on the deliberation, the Secretariat will fine-tune the wording. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it's part of the Secretariat, right? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairperson. I wanted just to shed some light on the relationship as it pertains training, the relationship of the AFSEC FAR plan and the ATO, and the AFSEC FAR plan with the ASTCs. From the structure of the AFSEC FAR plan, trainings are linked directly with the ASTCs and not your ATO. And this was done actually consciously, because there are no trainings under the AFSEC FAR plan which are done by ATO. So there is a clear dislink between the structure of the AFSEC FAR plan and the ATO, which is actually consciously done from the program document, because trainings under the AFSEC FAR plan are linked with the ASTCs. That's the light which I wanted to shed.
I think we discussed a bit of that when the question was asked, whether the ASTCs are members of ATO or not. So I think we can work on that. So that's really should not derail us. Ladies and gentlemen, as I've highlighted yesterday, you may not have taken me serious when I told you that Nigeria is a most religious country in the world. So the last thing I would want to do is to trample on anybody's religious rights, because I still want to come to Nigeria. So I respect, and then I've become so religious. I've told you that I've been to the shrine, and then I've been to church, and then so I don't want anybody to trample with my only opportunity to go to the mosque. And then that time is coming, slightly approaching. So to ensure that we do not trample on people's religious rights, I think we need to change a course of action, and then we allow the Secretariat to present all the outcomes of throughout. We don't stop. And then if ever there are comments, note them down, and then you will submit, and then we will consider that. And then if you agree, you can delegate the chairs to approve the records on your behalf, but that will be only after the final product has been circulated and all the comments have been taken into consideration. So I believe we can agree on that. I thank you very much. So it's now open. No meals are served. Everybody is sitting, fasten their seat belts, cruising. We want to land as soon as we possibly can. Thank you.
So
and yeah, you highlighted the decisions only. Thank you.
yes, so we have done for day 2. Bagasso, just here an information. We go to day 3. the AFI SECFAL plan. And under the agenda item 1, a status report on the implementation of the decision and recommendation of the 10th AFI SECFAL plan steering committee meeting. Decision and conclude on the recommendation, the steering committee encouraged continuity of ongoing advocacy to establish sustainable funding mechanisms of the AFI SEC plan and supported the extension of the AFI SECFAL plan program for another period of 6 years, from 2024 to 2030. We then have agenda item 2, the report on the status of implementation of the 2021 AFI SECFAL plan working program and approve of the 2022 work program. The recommendation, the steering committee requests the AUC to urge EU states issuing e-passport to join the ICAO Public Key Directory, PKD, and direct the Secretariat to include or align in the 2022 work program activities linked to the outcomes of the ICAO high-level conference on the impact of COVID-19 pandemic for review and approval during a steering committee meeting to be convened. Agenda 3, report on the status of implementation of the 9th RASC-FALC AFI meeting, recommendations, activities, and operationalization of the AFI CIS cooperative camp. Decision and recommendation, the steering committee invited African member states and stakeholders to provide necessary support to the RASC-FALC AFI and its effort to improve aviation security and facilitation in Africa. The steering committee urged states to implement the one-stop security in Africa and call upon regional organizations to spearhead the implementation of OSS strategy implementation. Then under agenda item 4 on the status report on the implementation of the revised Windhoek Declaration and targets. A decision to foster cooperation among states to support system to enhance security to include the AFI CES. Then on agenda item 5, on the recent development in the ICAO facilitation program, notably developments pertaining to Amendment 29 to Annex 9, facilitation the ICAO Public Key Directory, PKD, and the ICAO Traveler Identification Program, trip strategy. Decision A, the steering committee urged state to consider deployment of the IPACs, participate in the facilitation-related trainings courses, join the ICAO Public Key Directory, and implement the recommendation of the facilitation stream of the high-level conference on COVID-19. B, consider using resources of AFI SECFAL plan, AFCAC, and other partners to implement the Annex 9 provision. And C, strongly advise states to share their challenges to inform decision-making moving forward. Then we move to the presentation by partners that are informative with appreciation of the steering committee. This is the end of day 3. We now move to day 4. with the comments. Sorry. So, there is a decision on the steering committee, not the project, regarding the Interpol presentation. The steering committee noted the project as presented and requested to actively populate and search the Interpol database. The steering committee requests the AU, in collaboration with ICAO, to consider holding a ministerial meeting to bring together minister responsible for transport, and international security, border control, related affairs. We have done with the Eritrea now. We come to the outcome of the symposium. What I am going to display are recommendation or decision or conclusion we have captured. There is no narrative part in this. So we report session by session. The first one was the global and regional perspective. Session 1, the AFI region to speed the alignment of its plans to the revised GAPS targets and the 6th edition of the GAMP, foster the benefits awaited from new emerging technologies, and take advantage of innovation to bring added value and to promote data-driven decision-making. I don't know if for the symposium we will be discussing session by session, or if I may, okay. The second is the full aviation recovery of aviation is beyond 2023. States should build on the confidence of the public on air transport and consider the facilitation as the key enabler. Training should be harmonized between African training roadmap and the ICAO GATT to avoid segmentation of training initiatives and ensure harmonized approach for capacity building as well as affordable low-cost courses. More effort is required from aviation stakeholders to improve runway safety in the region. Then session 2 on aviation safety. It will recognize the role of the AFI plan in enhancing aviation safety in Africa through its various initiatives, and the meeting called for its continuous support to states to address safety issues. Then states are used to allocate adequate resources to strengthen their safety oversight system, increase the communication with concerned stakeholders, share their experiences, and maintain a tight liaison with the regional office. The cooperation and mutual support among state, ICAO, AFCAC, RSUs, REX, and other partners is highly needed in order to build synergies for the better research management and for improving effective implementation of the safety oversight. Then under session 3, air navigation capacity and efficiency, a state to consider the implementation of the basic building blocks, BBBs, and identify the applicable aviation system block upgrades, ASB elements. The air navigation service provider, INSPs, to establish contingency measures to cope with the reduction of traffic and incomes induced by pandemics such as COVID-19 to ensure the continuity of the provision of air traffic services. Air navigation service providers should reinforce their cooperation and collaboration through appropriate cooperative framework, including sharing of expertise, peer review mechanism for the provision of efficient air navigation services. African air navigation service providers to include in their cooperation framework collaboration towards the implementation of a seamless sky in Africa as part of their contribution to the SATEM objective to achieve an affordable and eco-friendly air transport, through interoperable and harmonized technologies, systems, and procedures. Then we move to Section 4 for aviation security and facilitation. States are urged to give high priority to aviation security, including an enhanced collaboration with training centers. AFI state with effective aviation security system should be effectively used by sharing the best practices to support states with challenges through the AFI CES mechanism. Then we move to Section 5. C'est bon? Okay, sorry. I thought that I had a loud voice, but I have a bit of sore throat. I try my best. Section 5, capacity building and sustainable funding of the aviation industry. Human resources capacity building should be prioritized in all the initiatives. States should take advantages of training opportunities provided by the ICAO GATT. The call for the support of the 82 has been emphasized. The HRDF should be revitalized and strengthened to support the capacity building initiative in the AFI region. And states should take advantage of the training opportunities provided by other partners, here the EU, Singapore, FAA, to support the development of their aviation industry. Then we move to air transport and economic development. The meeting drew the attention of state on the taxes and charges on air transport, which has a negative impact on the air transport activity in Africa. Political commitment for the implementation of SATEM is key for the development of air transport and should be considered in addition to the implementation of the Yamoussoukro Declaration. States should support new initiatives aiming to foster the development of intra-Africa tourism. Last but not least, environmental protection. States were reminded of the objective of the LTAG and the outcome from the LTAG GLADS in the AFI region, and on the importance of training as well as initiatives to support innovation. States are invited to participate at the ICAO HLM on LTAG and on the upcoming ICAO Assembly. States are encouraged to call for the support of the ICAO regional offices for the development or update of SAPs on SAF and to volunteer in the course. The AFI Environment Plan should be revised in due course and state will be updated on. AFCAC should continue working with ICAO on environment matters and with ICAO and the NDC on the development and deployment of SAF in Africa. Chair, high table members, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, this was the summary of the outcome of our deliberation. We apologize if we haven't captured all the details, but as I mentioned earlier before my intervention, we took notes of the debate, and when we will elaborate, we develop the report, we'll have time to elaborate more. And waiting again for your input for us to improve. What we want also is to, if there are proposals, that they be concise, so that even including the wording, we'll go to we will intervene to have the wording so that we can report very successfully. Thank you. Chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I will, if there is anyone who's feeling the urge to make a contribution, I will give the floor, and then, but you should take into account my promise that this document will be forwarded to all of you, and then you will look at the comfort of your own place, and then thoroughly go through it. Whatever needs to be implemented will be accompanied with timelines that will be in the document. So you see, so you must also focus on that, on your comments, and then we send in your comments, and then we'll approve the report when we are sure that everybody's comments have been accommodated. Yeah. So I see, Colonel Lata.
Yeah, merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. J'ai été très heureux de voir qu'on a pris en compte le marché unique des transports aériens, mais il me semble qu'on aurait pu mieux renforcer cela. C'est vrai, la dizaine de Yamoussoukro est vraiment l'élément clé dans le SATAM. J'aurais souhaité qu'on attire l'attention, surtout dans le transport aérien, que nous devons être ensemble. Donc, inviter les États à rejoindre le SATAM. Nous avons vu hier, on en a discuté, ce qui fait que la vie est très chère, les tickets sont chers, et c'est la voie pour réussir à diminuer cela. Je pense qu'on a maintenant un petit accent. C'est très bien la proposition, mais en renforçant ça un tout petit peu, ça me semble aller dans le sens de cette 7e réunion d'AFI. Alors, si vous souhaitez que je fasse une proposition, je vous la ferai. Mais j'aurais voulu qu'on invite les États à rejoindre le SATAM, qui est l'une des voies du développement du transport aérien. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much. That's a very good observation. We'll need you to submit the proposal to the Secretariat. It shall be incorporated. Any other burning issue? I see the hand over there. I can't read. Go ahead. Was Asekna?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Mine is to thank the Secretariat for the very good report presented this morning. I just want in section 3 to add the relevant proposal made by African Union regarding his initiative to build a seamless sky. So I wanted this proposal also to be added in this part of the report. I'm going to propose something to the Secretariat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That will be appreciated. Similarly, anyone who has a proposal, you are free to do that. So you don't even have to take the floor for that specific purpose. So we acknowledge that everybody has the right to submit any proposal, but then it must be on issues that were on the agenda. Should not be something that was out. So the issues that have been raised now were on the agenda and we discussed them. That's why then. So, what's that one? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Burundi Chair. Thank you very much. Mine is a very quick one. On section 6, air transport and economic development, where it is written that the meeting drawn the attention on states on the taxes and charges on air transport, which has a negative impact on the air transport perspectives in Africa. I just want to raise your attention on the fact that we differentiate taxes and charges, and we cannot do without charges because it is for cost recovery of services, and recovering costs is not something that we should consider as a problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You'll have to propose a wording to address that. It will be taken into consideration.
Chair, just to remove charges, we keep taxes. Thank you.
You know, the problem is that, yes, we agree, but then when the report comes, you have to look at that, whether the Secretariat have done it, and then well, as to where you will send the comments, because you will receive, already now I'm told this document it's already been sent to your email addresses. So the very same email address that come, it will have the email addresses of all the secretariats involved. So if when you respond, just respond to everyone on the mailing list. So at least we see what comments one has and the like. So respond to everyone. The secretariat will have the responsibility to sift them up and then incorporate them as appropriate. I see no further request for the floor. So, and we have been cleared to land on runway 17 Lima. So, although I was able to navigate you through this because the weather was clear, and then now we have been informed that there's some adverse weather towards landing. So, and more experienced captain will have to take over the landing part because I care about your safety. But before I hand over to the captain, I want to thank each and every one of you. I feel I have to react to the presentation made by Captain Noho when he talked about deforestation. You might think that it is not real. It is real in Nigeria. Because part of my next project in Nigeria was to visit the evil forest. And because of deforestation, it no longer exists. So that's why now you may have to come up with something that will now, I find, make me have justification to come to Nigeria, because the justification for visit the evil forest has now fallen apart. So that deforestation has done more harm than good. Because, it's some few individuals who make money out of it. But how many individuals are suffering because some greedy individuals decided to make money out of that? So those are the things we really have to consider. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you, starting with our hosts, the minister for having graced our occasion to open it, and the welcome. So when they said we are welcome, I felt welcome. And then I'm still feeling it, and I've seen the hospitality. Je suis très content. I will also want to thank the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority for the wonderful work. You have once again proved that you are very good at organizing international meetings. So whenever there is an indication that Nigeria is hosting, we will be comfortable that everything will run smoothly. I'm impressed that this very same hall where we were dancing last night, thrashing it literally, I still have to confer the winning prize. I know who's the winner. I don't have to look far. So, but then it was transformed into this wonderful place where we are sitting and meeting now. So that's kudos to the organizers. And then our ushers, they have done a very wonderful job. And then, you know, at some point I was trying to avoid some area where we were supposed to go, and they will say, no, you go there. We established this for you, and you go there. So I really applaud that, the professionalism that they dealt with us, the professionalism that they handled us. So accept that somebody promised me kola nut and he has not yet provided to me. The rest, I have really enjoyed my stay in Nigeria, but maybe then it's too early to complain about kola nut because I still have tomorrow morning to be here. Maybe then they are sent it to my room. I will get it. So I would not want to mention everybody by name, otherwise I run the risk of leaving other people and then and get crucified for that. But also to thank the interpreters. We sometimes overstretched them, and then which perhaps we must try to avoid next time. The rest of the AFI group for the wonderful work that they have done and the support. But most importantly, because to me, this is the best AFI group we have ever had. I've never missed, no, not AFI group, sorry, AFI Aviation Week. I've never missed any AFI Aviation Week. This is the best. We can single out a lot of things, but to me, the outstanding one is the level of participation. So that gives me the comfort that we are going to conquer the high-level conference on environment, climate change. We are going to conquer the assembly. If we take this spirit there, we are going to do it. So let's give a round of applause. Thank you very much. And then thanks for the camera people. So at least some whom I have not seen for quite a long time, they were able to see me, and they were comfortable that I'm having a good time here in Nigeria, because they could see me smiling, and then they have to take my word for it. They had to see for themselves. So ladies and gentlemen, without taking much time, I want to hand over to the senior captain who will navigate us towards the landing, chair of the AFI SECFA.
Mine is very simple, but it's a formality. So I have to start by welcoming a distinguished representative of the minister who has kindly agreed to come and see us conclude this wonderful, very wonderful aviation week. Sir, Oga, I only know 2 words in Nigeria, Nagodi, Eshe. I don't know which one to use in this particular case, but whichever. So, sir, you're welcome. It has been a wonderful time. Wonderful hospitality, wonderful everything Nigeria could offer, it offered it, and it offers big way. So we thank you so much. Please take this message to the highest level, because even your president was able to see the Secretary General and his team, and I know he's a busy man, during this week. So we cannot take that for granted. So no, it couldn't go any higher. We reached everywhere during this week. Thank you so much. The captain in charge landed safely. I don't know why he asked me to take over. To take over where? So, but he forgot a few things. First, I start with a smaller one, is to thank the Secretariat of the 2 plans, and also the Secretariat of ICAO who came from Montreal. Please give them a round of applause. And then when you land very well in Africa, you clap for the captain. He forgot to thank himself. So, thank you, Captain. You landed very well. Now, it's my honor and pleasure to invite the representative of the minister, Senator Selika. Right? Did I say that right that way? Please give him our love, respect, and regard, and joy, and everything. I don't know how to put it. Tell him, that we appreciated his presence and we appreciated the input he made to this. The rest, I will not repeat what you have said, Captain. And so, Your Excellency, representative of the minister, please come and give your remarks.
Thank you very much. I don't know what to say again, because actually the last two speakers, Captain and the Chairman, they have said all I have to say. All the compliments and all the attribution and the thanks. I don't know what else again to add. All the same, on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Aviation of Nigeria, Senator Hadi Abubakar Sirika, I wish to thank all of you for attending this event. There is no doubt that this has been a successful, interactive 7th AFI Aviation Week in Abuja. In the same vein, I have no doubt that the recommendations and conclusions made during this AFI Week event will be able to meet our challenges as a region. We thank you for attending and look forward to seeing you at the next AFI Week event. It will also be my honor to welcome and host you at the ICANN 2022 in December in Abuja, Nigeria. I will assure you that what you just experienced this week in December, it will be greater. This is just a tip of the iceberg. We have a lot for you to enjoy in December, which is going to be a very bigger event. And I hope everyone will go back safely. I wish you journey marches back to your various countries. Thank you very much.
Very quick announcement. A warm round of applause again for His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Aviation, represented by the Director, Air Transport Management, Federal Minister of Aviation, Alhaji Mohammed Naibi. Warm round of applause for him. I noticed something. Why they asked we should clap for the organizers was very low. When they said we should clap for the ushers, it was very high. Why? Our amiable directors from ICAO, our own African bosses, the regional directors, our core reps, excellencies here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we take the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if you will permit me for 30 seconds, let me ask the Central Organizing Committee to just come to the front and take a bow. Led by Engineer Mahmoud, please. All the organizers, the Central Organizing Committee of the AFI, 7th AFI Week Nigeria, please. Very quickly, we have 10 seconds more. A warm round of applause for them. Okay, clap again for the ushers. I can see Madam Yinka, Ms. Adekbesong, the team, please come very quickly, very quickly. Where is Madam Aisha coordinating the food? Announcement, launch is going to be at the Oriental Hall. Oriental, the ushers will lead us to the launch. Launch is for 12:30. And after that, if you're headed for the crafts, the visitation to the exhibition plates, arts and crafts. There will be a vehicle here after lunch to take you to the place for the crafts. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, these are the people behind the mask. From the airport, back to the airport, to your hotels, to your food, to all that you've seen in Nigeria, these are the masquerades behind. Please take a bow. One round of applause for them, please. Okay, the regional directors want to join them. Celebrate them again with another warm round of applause. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's been an awesome week thanks to our regional directors, ICAO Secretariat, ICAO Council reps from all the African countries, friends alike, our hosts, the DGCA Nigeria, other CAs and CEOs of agencies in aviation in Nigeria, the Nigerian government, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Che Victor Elias. I've been here as an altar boy, and if you agreed, I've done a good job. A warm round of applause for me. May we rise for the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, please. The national anthem. Thank you very much. Lunch 12:30 Oriental Room. There's an Oriental place there in the main hotel yard for the lunch. If you're for PCR test, please see me. Thank you very much. Bon appetit by lunchtime.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Representative of Honorable Minister, please join them in a group photograph. Nigerian Ambassador, ICAO Rep, Engineer, please join them, sir. MD Nama, please join them. DGCA Nigeria, join them. Director from ICAO. Thank you very much.